Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we're having tea with Tyler. We need to start trusting God with our lives and the plan and the timeline. I find that we're often wanting things to go our way and when we want to, and then get really discouraged and disappointed when things actually don't go the way that we thought. And, they make this joke about if you want to joke with God, then make a timeline and a plan for your life. And then, he makes it completely different than that. But I think there's so much beauty in the fact that we don't know how God is going to orchestrate our lives. And at the end of the day, I've had to learn that if I trust, then no matter what, God's going to take care of me. Even if I'm hurting right now, or even if I'm disappointed in some things right now. But if at the end of the day, I can trust that God's going to take care of me, then it's a lot easier to go through each day because I understand that once I get through this season, once I learn the lessons I'm supposed to learn, then ultimately I'll be well. And that has truly been something that has blessed me. So I want to make sure that we're really mindful of that and finding opportunities to not act like we know everything because we really don't. I think initially, before you really become educated on what it's actually like to have history with God and how He actually works through your life, it's frustrating. Like, let's be honest. Like, we want what we want when we want it, and we're believing in God for things and outcomes and opportunities and experiences. Then what happens when that's not the plan that He has? It requires a lot of patience, a lot of dedication, a lot of studying His Word, learning from people in order to truly get that patience. And so, day to day, I don't exactly know how I might do something. I don't exactly know what's the next step to take, but I'm trusting that God's going to put it in my spirit to know which direction to go. And I have to trust it, even if I go in a step that maybe isn't the most favorable outcome, that there's a reason and a purpose for that, and that God will use that situation to help guide me to where He ultimately wants me to be. So every day, it may not be glamorous, right? But I think when you build that muscle up essentially to where you have that relationship where you're just trusting that God's going to take care of you and you just go where you feel like He's leading you to go, and where you're so locked in with God, you begin to have this lighter load as you navigate through your life. You understand that you'll be okay. You may know that I quit my job to do art full time during the pandemic for a few years. That was a big leap of faith, and I was really successful. I was making a lot of money selling more art than I could keep up with, and it was an amazing experience. But post pandemic, people's spending habits changed. The economy's in a different place, and I wasn't performing as well. So ultimately, I had to go back to where I left. I went back to corporate. I went back to the same team doing very similar work as when I left. And that was something I never thought I would need to do again. But that was really me trusting God's plan. Like, I feel like I hit a personal low at that time, and I was either going to dig myself into a lot of debt or be very anxious when it came to how I built my business and how I created my art. But I had to trust that if God was sending me back to that space, then it was for a reason. And it's so interesting how the ego works because my ego was kind of big. Like, I've accomplished all these things. This is the direction I'm supposed to be in. I'm not supposed to be back where I was. But there's a lot of beauty in going back and revisiting a space, and God's giving you a new perspective. And ultimately, I had to learn how to have a different level of patience with people. I had to learn a different level of humility and understanding that your life can change in any given minute. And it means be thankful for what you have every single day, because what you have and what you might be complaining about or wishing was different could be a blessing for you in another season where you really wish that you would have been more appreciative. One example that comes to mind is weight loss. And I know there's all these experiences where maybe you're at a weight that's a little higher than you want, and then fast forward a couple years and you weigh more, and you didn't take time to appreciate where you were back then. I think that applies to our lives in general. How do we make sure that we appreciate the season of life that we're in and understand that things can get better, but also recognizing that things could go the opposite direction as well? So, how do we just enjoy the journey and not make it a miserable experience? Since going back to corporate, I'm a better person. I have stability in my life now. I'm able to create because I want to create. I'm able to find opportunities to build wealth. I've grown a lot emotionally, and it has pushed me to different limits. And I'm really thankful for that. And so I know if there's ever a day where I'm a full time artist again, it's going to be completely different than the first time around where I really didn't know what I was doing. And I'm also able to teach you all along the way. When you think about showing up for yourself, when you think about showing up for your life, you have to truly understand the bigger picture. And it takes time. I think we're in this microwave generation where we want things immediately. You can order a package on Amazon, it can get there the same exact day. There's so many ways to get things quickly. But what I'm learning from studying people that have done what I want to do or who have accomplished significant, amazing things in life, one common thing is that it has taken real time. And I've seen a quick success, and I've also seen things go the opposite direction from that. But when I look at things over time, it actually pays off. So part of it is understanding, why am I doing this? To me, it's ministry. Like, I feel like God has given me this gift to create art that can inspire the world, to help change the narrative of what it's like to be a Black woman in America, how people should view us, how we should view ourselves. And so I know it's ministry. And so I think with that in mind, it's ultimately for a bigger purpose of, how can I give God the glory? How can I help you all see things in a different light? And from that, it's worth the ride. And I think it's also good because I know God will sometimes give us a vision, right, of what our future can look like. But then the journey to get there is so different. And it takes real patience and intention to go from where you start to where you're ultimately going to end up. But the beauty of having that vision is it's a reminder to continue to press forward, because you know deep down in your spirit that there is another side to this. So when things are really difficult, you know that it's worth pushing through, because you know that God has a really big plan for your life. So sometimes I struggle, sometimes I'm tired, sometimes opportunities aren't happening, or sometimes things have not gone the way that I would have expected. I've experienced a lot of pain, I've experienced a lot of joy, but I trust that God's going to take care of me, and I just keep that in the back of my head. And one thing I tell myself is, God's got me. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And even in the moment, if I really don't believe that it's okay, I had to start training myself to actually believe that. And what I find is, when I just meditate on that, God's got me. It's okay. It's going to be okay. It actually is okay eventually. So our mind is so powerful, and it's really important to retrain our minds so that we're in alignment for where we actually want to be in life, because there's a lot of misery in this world, and you all know misery loves company. So we have to be really mindful of the company that we keep, and make sure that we have people in our corner, people in our lives that really support where we're going, who can give us genuine, honest feedback that actually helps us get to the bigger goal of why God has us on this earth. Just like I tell myself, God got me, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, I think it's important for us to all have that one thing that we go back to. So I want to encourage you to think about that. What is one thing that you can continue to remind yourself that even when things are challenging, it'll be okay? Something that you can believe in. Also, if you are interested in learning more about my journey, how I've evolved over time, more about my art and just my walk with Christ, then please feel free to subscribe. I would love for you all to continue along this journey with me. Leave a comment below too if you have an idea or something that can uplift or encourage someone else. I appreciate you, I love you, and you got this. See you later.